Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Hi, welcome back to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. You're with Grace.
And this is Arlene.
And you're on the Durian Heat, where we share the matters and issues and perhaps to highlight the own business sector in Southeast Asia. So we have invited this wonderful guy from Singapore. His name is Marcus Tan. He is a designer as well as the co-founder of Carousell in Singapore. So this amazing app, a mobile app, it's been gaining a lot of popularity in Southeast Asia, and it's got also the investment by Golden Gate Ventures, 500 startups, and a few other angel investors. And not only Marcus Tan, but he also has a co-founders, one Malaysian and one Singapore, and the company was founded in 2012. So let's say hello to Marcus.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Well, thank you for participating in our interview today. Well, can you just give a brief background of yourself? Because we're very curious of who you are first.
Yeah, before
I know you're Singaporean.
Yeah.
Before I start, it's a pleasure to be on this show, and thank you, Durian ASEAN, to invite me over to talk about
It's
Carousell
our pleasure.
and also our story. So the background of Carousell, how we started was that
First, the background of yourself.
Oh, myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you go on to Carousell.
Yes.
The main motivation of why I started Carousell is that we spent a year in Silicon Valley back then. So I did internship in San Francisco, working in tech startups, and that was where we fell in love with technology, how technology can impact people.
You were based in Silicon at the time?
Yeah, back then. So in the National University in Singapore, they send students for overseas program where they work in startups and take classes at Stanford.
So that's like exchange program.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was the background I was exposed to, being in Silicon Valley, working in a tech startup and taking classes at Stanford. That was where we fell in love with technology. Like back in 2009, when Obama was becoming president, it was amazing seeing how he used technology for his campaign, for his change campaign, using social media, using technology to reach out to people. And that kind of shaped me, and I realized, wow, how technology can impact people, can make lives better for everyone. So we came back to Singapore, and we stumbled upon a problem, and it was buying and selling. So we used to use sites like Laoyat, Muda,
all the Malaysian stuff lah.
Yeah, and it was very painful to sell on those sites, right? To sell something, you need to take your camera, take a photo, take out the SD card, crop it, and then upload it on the web.
10 steps.
Yes, exactly.
Just to sell one stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Long procedure, in fact. Yeah.
And the worst part is sometimes when you're dealing with those people, you have no idea who you're dealing with. It's a bit weird people you find upon. You can't really tell who they are. So this was the few things that you wanted to solve using a mobile app platform. So we took 3 months. We never built an app before, so we learned on our own.
Right.
I was a business major, so I graduated with a degree in business administration.
And how did you how do you dwell into technology if you're from a business major?
I always like how technology impact people. So I read up on blogs, watch YouTube channels, and to build a tech product, there are few phases to it. Yes, there's the engineering part, but also the research and design element to it as well. So at the early days, I learned Photoshop. I learned about design patterns.
And it's all by yourself?
Oh, the three of us, me, Surey, and Lucas, my other two co-founders.
How did you guys meet each other? Or from the same college?
Yeah. So I know Surey for 10 years. We celebrated our 10 years friendship anniversary last year.
Congratulations. And it's still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Longer than any marriage. I know.
Oops.
Yeah. So I was very fortunate that he introduced me to his roommate. So the program that we went, one of his roommate was Lucas, who's the Malaysian.
Right.
He's from Port Dickson. And we just connected. We had with this coffee bean at Holland Village in Singapore. And we just chat, he just introduced us, just chat, and then we just connected in terms of wanting to start something that use technology to solve problems. And that was how we got started, in fact. After that day, we went back, and then we just, at that time I was still working at Oracle. It's a database company. Just 8 months in, I quit my job, full-time job, and then took a leap of faith and do Carousell.
Right, because when it comes to startups or even entrepreneurs who wants to have their own business, right, it's either they have this great idea and they want to contribute to society to improve certain things, or they want to fix certain issues to make it better. So which one was it yours?
Yeah. It all started with a personal itch. Like I use sites like Laoya. I love photography. So like before I even thought of like entrepreneurship, I wanted to be a photographer.
From businessman to photographer.
Yeah, I always like great design, like products with great design, and I like aesthetics, like why photos are so beautiful. And I bought a small camera. I took photos. And a lot of my friends say they're nice. They gave me the courage to like want to learn more about photography.
So Marcus is like very artsy businessman.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm still puzzled, like why girls aren't coming in to say hi to him.
Oh, well, should we ask his friends or just directly to him?
But you're very multi-talented. But it came from a passion that you want to do something
for sure.
And is it beyond just the Loyat problem that you have?
Yeah, just to finish out that. So I love photography, and I used to use like sites like Yaoyat to buy second-hand camera lenses and then sell them, because photography equipment are very liquid, meaning that you can buy second-hand tests and then if you don't like it, you can sell it. So that's what I used to do. I bought like 50mm, I tried the lens, didn't like it, I sell it. Also buy like second-hand cameras. I have 2 second-hand cameras from Laoyat, sites like Laoyat. But the whole process of selling was so painful, and the people you meet are quite dodgy. You don't know whether you're being scammed or not. So this was the problem that we faced, and I faced, and then that was how we started like Carousell. The whole selling process had to be better, and it hasn't changed since like 1990s. The site is still the same. It's still web platform, not PC. We needed something for mobile, especially when the new generation of mobile phones, like mobile being the new personal computers.
Correct.
Phones are so cheap, and the next generation of internet users are going to be coming on the mobile phones.
There were not any innovation by other young people like you guys. So you guys were the first in Southeast Asia to create this mobile app for such marketplace.
Exactly. Like 2 years ago, we were the first to be the market, like doing like mobile C2C, consumer to consumer marketplace. But since then, there has been competition in the space. But we always focus on problem solving. That's one of our core values, problem solving. How can we use technology to solve problems? And that's why we're always shipping updates every 2 to 3 weeks on the mobile app, Carousell. Like making sure that every new release we are solving a problem for a user.
So this trading and dealing application on mobile phones, like we mentioned before, it's gaining a lot of popularity and easy to use. You just need to download the app and upload your materials and items and let people see what you need to sell. But then in terms of transparency, like trusting issues between the seller and the buyer, how did you develop the trusting communication?
Yeah, so there are 3 things we do. So one is like prevention, right? So we have a review system on the Carousell app where every transaction that goes through, the buyer and seller can leave a review. So this way, like a potential buyer or seller want to deal with a particular person can read the review, and like if there's a bad review, they'll be able to be warn them away. So that's one way. The second thing is that people can flag. We give the community the tools to flag a user. Let's say the person is a possible like scammer, or like there's a very ruthless, unreasonable like a buyer or seller.
Right.
The community can flag the person. Like there's this button where they can flag and report them. Like give them a reason. We'll get the notification and we'll do a investigation. If it's true, we will ban the person.
Wow.
Yeah. And the third thing we do is technology. We use technology to find that. So we have we look at special keyword algorithms to figure out who to keep the community safe.
And so far, how has it been?
It's great. We in Malaysia itself, we have close to 1.2 million listings. Close to 1/4 of that have sold. Total items have been sold.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. Well, to be honest, when you start a business, we cannot ignore all those ups and downs and the challenges that you guys must have faced. And then being such a young guy here, yes, how did you manage to overcome all those issues? For example, finance, it could be one of the problems here. So what are the challenges have you faced so far?
Yeah, so maybe I can go backtrack day 0.
Sure.
So I think the first challenge is convincing your parents actually.
That's the question that I wanted to ask. Especially, the Kiasu Asian parent. like, oh, you need to do this, not that. But photography,
Right. Very structured, right?
yeah, very structured, and maybe not too risky. I mean, not
Risk takers, yes.
careers like business or even or photography. So how do you manage to convince your parents?
Yeah, so it was like life changing when I went to the US. When I went there, I saw people that are like relatively younger than me, like starting their company, have zero experience. They move out from their parents. Because they're in the West Coast, most of their parents are East Coast. They just moved out and just stay there and just build a company. So that was eye opening.
So that's
It
a
was
culture that is
yeah,
so
it is different culture.
Yeah, it's totally the philosophy there is so different. Down there, when you go to Starbucks, you go Coffee Bean, people are like opening their laptops, programming.
Right.
Wow.
And you can actually meet co-founders through like just
That's
at a
amazing.
coffee shop there, and people just talk about like products, applications, and what's the new thing you found in the app store. So that kind of opened our minds and eyes. And when we came back, we were like finishing our last year. So the school made it a way where you have to go back to school to finish your one last or 2 semesters left.
Right.
So you went back and like it became like a responsibility that you really know of such things happening, that you have to do like something meaningful, impactful with your life. And that's one thing that we learned there. We came back, we look at what problems that we face on a daily
Right.
basis, and that was buying and selling. So that was how we got started. So the first challenge was convincing my parents to allow you to do that kind of life, to change your lifestyle, right? Because for like because you don't know when you're gonna start like getting
Exactly.
That's
like
true.
financing and all. So we took 1.5 years without any salary. We started Carousell. We did it for 1.5 years without any salary. No one actually uses Carousell for the first like year or so.
Wow, that's a long wait. Huh?
It is.
And we just stayed focused, like had a lean lifestyle. In Singapore, like if you go to the coffee shop, you can buy economical rice, like rice with 2-3 vegetables for like $3 Sing, which is good enough. And then you just drink water.
Oh.
And we just drink water. So yeah, we survived very lean. We took public transport, took the last train every day. I mean, for me, I like the kind of lifestyle. I like to be on trains, looking at what people are looking on their mobile phones, just hoping it's Carousell. And thankfully, it is Carousell nowadays. Yeah. So early on, convincing our parents, keeping a lean lifestyle was very important. And parents, it took a while to get them
Of course.
understanding also. The first time you tell them, they'll be like, "Are you sure? This is like very risky." Then thankfully we had some like press PR that helped. But you gotta keep showing them results. So every time I like show my mom like, "Hey, this is what we did today."
So within that whole year where you have to lead a lean lifestyle, what were the things that you guys were actively seeking out? Yeah.
Feedback from users. So there was one day we had like 7 downloads. That was how bad we were. Like 7 downloads a day. That's terrible. But what kept us going was there was this group of users, 400 like active users on a daily basis using the app. And when we dig deeper, like who these people are, they were female girls, 18 to 25-year-old girls using the app. And that was where we repositioned ourselves, like targeting the female. And we learn when we ask questions. When we go to flea markets, we ask them. Oh, they have like bursting cupboards that they want to sell their clothes or their
You
makeup.
guys become like a survey company as well, just to know what's the market down there.
Yeah, I mean, we built the product for ourselves, but we realized that positioning wise, what really resonated was this group of female 18 to 25-year-old girls. So we started like marketing towards them as well. So we went to like blog shops, we went to like Nasty Girls to read how people write the copywriting and how they market sale, top 5 high waist shots of the month, and we started like learning how to write.
Female than us.
Wow, you did a lot of researches, huh?
Yeah, so we started like marketing so as I said, 1 year we are like slow growth. We started like repositioning and like marketing towards the female. Growth started to pick up. And we also launched Android. Initially we were just like iPhone only.
Right.
Then we realized like 3/4 or like more than half are like on
Especially
Android.
with the Chinese Android phones, you want to explore the Android market.
Correct. Yeah. And that was when growth started to pick up, and my parents started to get happy. At this, you can see me on the App Store now.
Right.
My mother started printing flyers and give people. That's how
nowadays
supportive.
you became very supportive,
She became so supportive.
So after that, you did find your marketing audience after that. So then after that, what was the next challenge?
The next challenge was so we had some traction. That helped us to like raise a seed round and subsequently a Series A round. I mean, seed round was Rakuten Ventures, Golden Gate Ventures, 500 Star as well, Kylie Ng from Malaysia, he was the partner there, and then subsequently Sequoia Capital came on board. So very, very privileged to have them on board because they had built like legendary companies like Apple, Google, and more recent like they invested in WhatsApp, Instagram. So very, very honored to have them on board and also have their guidance to build a long-term enduring company that
For sure, yeah.
So the next challenge is always like finding like-minded people. People are passionate about what we are doing, inspiring people to start selling, just in mobile as well, technology. So this has always been a challenge, finding people who are passionate about it, great people who are passionate about it. Like what really drives us early on, although we have no growth, was also the stories that come out of people using Carousell. People who selling for the first time, they have never ever like tried selling secondhand, but because of the simplicity, they are like selling secondhand, and this is benefiting the community that can't afford firsthand. So there's a lot of people that actually can't afford firsthand. The reality is not everyone can like buy from shopping center.
I mean, it's practically like a flea market in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like personal story, I sold my Nikon D90 body to a student who wanted to learn photography. And she used it to take photo of her boyfriend. Photo shoot, I think, for some
That's her model.
Yeah, her model. And she didn't hear of like sites like Laoya or like Muda. Like that's the generation that the younger generation, they don't know of such sites. All they know is probably Snapchat or like Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I would say that would be like the early 2000 Eat app, I would say, or Eat marketplace. But now is, I think, need to be integrated with the mobile apps. To make it even more.
So basically she couldn't afford first hand and she able to afford like second hand. She can afford it and she picked up the skill of photography. And I'm sure that there are many more like people like having these stories.
For sure.
First time user, sorry. And then there are people who are really inspired. They don't need a credit card to start an account. People who love like design and handicraft. They probably could use Etsy in the future, but it's very expensive. You need a credit card. But they started building handcraft, like bookmarks, notebooks, and they start selling on Carousell. And it inspired a lot of entrepreneurship activities on Carousell. And the last,
Okay, go ahead. You have the
really
last
excited.
one. Yeah, I know.
Because these are the stories that really inspire us. And the last one is like social causes. People who come on board, like in the recent Nepal earthquake, people came to Carousell. They took their stuff that they no longer use or donated to them and they sell it and just give it to the charity organization.
I just want to highlight the products that you're selling. It's a lot towards the consumer side is B2C. But have you ever thought about B2B, like selling things that are more expensive and more towards businesses rather than for consumers? Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah, probably the future. Like for us right now, like we want to make sure that the app that we built is something that I will still use. So we are very focused on like the C2C, consumer to consumer, person to person. We believe in like the whole second-hand like spirit should still be there. And in terms to answer your question like B2C or B2B, sorry, in the longer run, that's something we hope to have also. Our vision is to be a e-commerce ecosystem. So right now we have like the C2C. In the future, where like this C2C can upgrade to a business because it's so simple. There's this mechanism where they can build their followers like Instagram, so people who follow their taste, similar taste and style, over time they have this following, they can convert into a business account.
For sure.
And they can pay a nominal fee to have better value added services.
I like your I think your tagline, sell in a snap, buy with a chat. It kind of rhymes with your thinking.
So we'll take a short break. For sure this company has a lot of potential, especially potential among the public as well. So we'll continue this interview after this short break. We'll come back.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're still at the Durian Heat with Grace.
And this is Arlene.
So we have been speaking to Marcus Tan, who is the co-founder of Carousell. So Marcus, let's continue our conversation to talk about your company still. Having a company or running a company, passion is a main element to drive the whole company and also to become an entrepreneur. But what are the other elements would you recommend or would you say for this particular company, Carousell, to run this whole sort of innovation business?
Besides passion, I think one more element that's extremely important is people, right? At the end of the day, the companies, even the product is built by people. People who are passionate about our mission and our vision. So that's a very important element. Always finding people who are, in fact, better than us, right? You want to hire people who are better than us, able to share the same enthusiasm and to help us along the way. Like you want to get someone that value adds, can think different angles. Like we are very young also, like so we love to engage or even hire people who are slightly more mature, have 2 to 3 years experience in the field and to help us in our mission.
Oh, that's great. Actually, from that question, I want to ask you, like, how is it about staff employment? Was it hard for you guys to get talents, or do you think Malaysians and Singaporeans, are they good enough for your company?
Yeah, our team are very like ASEAN centric.
Oh, really?
People like from Philippines, Indonesia,
that's great.
Malaysia. Yeah, so we are very ASEAN centric.
And very young as well.
Yeah, very young as well. I am sadly the oldest.
How old?
Yeah. So we're very young. I mean, we always believe in like first principles thinking. Like when you're young, you don't have any baggage. You don't bring the experience baggage that sometimes you may have. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's a trade-off, good and bad thing. To have experience is good as well, but sometimes some things were like new to the market, like revolutionary. You need to think first principles. Like you don't have to like. It's good to have a healthy disregard for impossible. Like you cannot think of that it's impossible to be done. That's the good thing about like coming in fresh and new.
How large is your team?
Sorry?
How large is your team?
So right now we have 28 full-timers and the rest are part-time interns, total 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my next question to that is, what kind of culture does a Carousell company have?
Yeah, so we are very open culture. So we have 3 core values that we have at Carousell. So the first one is that we are problem solvers. We use technology to solve problems. Every decision we make is about how can we help our users, how can we improve the platform, how can we help the community of buyers and sellers. So problem solving, how can we solve problems for them. The second one is care. We care really about our users. Where everyone as sign comes in, we send a welcome email asking them how they feel about the app.
So customer service is a priority.
Yes, priority, yes. At the end of the day, every function in Carousell is important. It contributes to the growth of the app. Whether it's the customer service, product. It's a good product is a function of all these. Customer service, product, design, marketing as well, like the community. Yeah. All these things are a function of good product.
For sure.
A good company.
Glad that you mentioned marketing, because usually marketing means that you need more money to sell your products or to sell to expand your business. Did you use a lot of money for marketing, or do you use creative way like distributing
or make use of all those online platforms?
Yeah. So that answer I can answer in 2 phases. So when you're day 0, you have 0 marketing. Yeah. Now we have like some resources, so we can invest in marketing. But our marketing is always to amplify what already works. So let's touch the first part first. When you have zero marketing, you just have to use your physical presence. That's why we're in the free markets, right? To physically market the product, going to there, getting to know the potential users. And at the early days, it's important to have to rely less on marketing, less on spending marketing, so that you know that the product actually solves problems. And the product should itself be useful enough for them to use. Like when you communicate to someone, they should have some utility from it, some value from it. So for us, our early days, our value proposition was snap list sell, which is still the same today. It's just 30 seconds. You can list your item for sale, and we'll broadcast it to your as many networks as possible. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook groups. So that was a value proposition for people. So it's just basically telling them to try the app, and if it's useful, they'll tell their friends. So that was how we market early on, building a product that was utility first, a tool where it makes sense for them, simple to use, and they will tell their friends if it's useful enough. And we got early validation that it was useful, and we've tried our best to find the first 100 happy sellers. We went to every flea market to find them, from different categories as well: female, fashion, beauty products, guys, gadgets, design, craft. So we got 10 to 20 of these kind of sellers, and we made them really, really happy. In terms of making sure that the features they used it were useful for them. So that was like day 0 marketing, making sure you get the first 100 happy sellers at all costs. Because at the end of the day, if they're happy, they are your biggest like evangelists.
For sure, yes.
They're your biggest fans. And like we'll do cross marketing, we'll do interviews for them. Yeah, we'll do shout outs for them in the app. In return, they'll tell their friends. So these are the kind of things that we do, making friends with them early on.
Wow.
So post like when we have like some financing and funding, then we can invest a bit on marketing. But the marketing is always to amplify, to accelerate like what works. So for example, when we go to like schools to market, we used to do that regularly, but now we have some resources. We can like maybe do a sponsorship or like a giveaway.
All right.
Yeah, to accelerate what's really working.
So Carousell really expanded your territory, not only in Singapore, Malaysia, perhaps Indonesia, and also in a few other regions.
So we are in 4 markets right now: Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Taiwan.
Taiwan as well.
Yeah.
All right.
And we are going to open a few more markets by the end of the year.
In Southeast Asia.
In the world.
In the
Let's just say it's the world.
Wow, so expanding even further.
We see this as a global opportunity. Buying and selling is something that's been around since humans, like people trade, people they need to buy and sell things to fulfill their needs, right? It's been around for the longest time, and I think the opportunity of the whole mobile revolution, thanks to Steve Jobs, when he introduced a smartphone.
For sure, yeah.
The idea of a smartphone, a pocket computer, has reset everything. So what used to be like buy sell sites like eBay on PC, like example there, like Laoya Muda, all these will be reset because of the mobile phone.
Let's talk about the buying online platform and then you physically go to shops and buying. How is it so far? Talking about the Southeast Asia, especially younger generation. Do people want to go to the shop physically and buy stuff, or they just rely more on the online platforms now?
Yeah, I think it's a two different experience, online and offline.
For sure.
Like offline experience, yes, buying and selling is part of it, but I think the whole experience is the shop, like to travel there with your friends physically.
And the materials as well.
Yeah, going to eat after that, going to the mall and then seeing physically all the other different like retail mix there. I think that's the experience. Whereas like a mobile or e-commerce, mobile commerce kind of experience is like, it's more intimate. Your own time. You're like probably traveling before you sleep.
Right.
In the car, or like waiting for someone. So that experience is different. So I would go more like two different experiences. But the core needs are there, right? You need to buy. If you know what you want, you probably go to the shop you want. If you know what you want, you just search for it.
For sure. Yeah.
But the beauty of those are on par. But the beauty of the mobile platform and the e-commerce is that the other data, the other like dynamics you can play with, like for example location, they know where you are, so you can like find things around you, and then you can search, passive discovery. If you connect to your Facebook friends, or like there's so much social graph that you can pull to figure out like maybe your friends like this, you can like this. So many things you can do on the on a mobile platform, which augments the whole experience.
Very, very interesting.
So we're going to take another short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Perhaps let's talk about the Southeast Asia entrepreneurship and also startups there.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Welcome back to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. You are still with us, Grace.
And this is Arlene.
And we've been speaking to Marcus Tan, who is the co-founder of Carousell company in Singapore. So we've touched on a lot of areas to talk about this amazing company. And Marcus, let's talk about the investment. And Arlene had a few questions, right?
Oh, yes. Talking about investment, I think first of all is when you started to get major investment into your company.
Yeah, so we were connected to Vinny Lauren as a mentor. So he helped us earlier on for 3 months. So I mentioned earlier, like we had zero growth early on. So he helped us. He came on board, looked at our product. He was very hands-on. So he wouldn't like look at the copy that we use on the app, like, hey, you should change this. He was so hands-on in that, and he recommended some like features and some mechanics to help with retaining users. And that's when we started to grow after that, because of his suggestions and clarity in like what to prioritize. We had a lot of things we want to do, but Vinny came in and told us like what we should prioritize first. So we had a working relationship with him, mentor, like just purely like helping us, advising us on board. And then he saw us started to grow rapidly. we asked him would he be interested in like investing in us, because he also had a fund called Golden Gate Ventures. And he said sure. And the great thing about Vinny was that he said like he didn't need to lead. He showed us like a term sheet. He gave us a term sheet and said, hey, why don't you find like people or for this round that could help us like build the company that we envision it to be. So we got connected to Rakuten, which is the Japan's largest e-commerce platform. And 500 startups, Kylie Ng, who started Group Small and Says.com, and another angel from Indonesia. So we wanted to look for people with expertise in like commerce, mobile, and domain knowledge in the market. So we have Kai Malaysia, Danny Wiranto from Indonesia. We have local knowledge in Indonesia, and Rakuten, which have like they are the largest Japanese
really
e-commerce. And Vinny and with Vinny Golden Gate Ventures, financial VC. So that was actually the round for the seed round. All our investors was there, and also one more angel from Singapore. So we had like a good pool of investors which have great knowledge, and that was thanks to Vinny for allowing us to do that.
It's amazing how Carousell company had a strong, investors and who have developed their interest in the Carousell as well. But then having investor is one thing, but building a relationship with them is also another story, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's why like the 3 months we were working with Vinny, we were like friends. Like the investors, at the end of the day, you have to it's a relationship. You need to understand how they work. Not all investors could be a good fit for you or for a startup. You need to take time to evaluate them. Likewise, they evaluate you.
Yep.
And Vinny was amazing. Like there was once where we went to Malaysia actually for a E27 event called HLR Satellite. And back then we were still bootstrapping, very lean. We had no money to like get a hotel and all. So he opened up his hotel, like, hey, come and bunk in with my hotel. So like we like slept with him there. The three of us just bunk in with him. That night we had like two beds or what. We just shared like four of us. And we went for the event together as well. So that was how like there was this great like chemistry and relationship knowing him, and until today we still have that chemistry.
I guess that the relationship is even stronger because of all the hardship that you guys went through together, and luckily you had someone who can give you the great guidelines and advice when it comes to business, right? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Likewise for our Series A round as well. So Series A was Sequoia Capital led, and the whole investor group was really supportive of having Sequoia on board. Because of their networks and their experience in building companies. So yeah, it's always good to like take time to know your investors and letting them to know you. That's what we did like the 3-4 months of that. It wasn't something that it's not like the moment you want to raise funding, you email them or like you set up calls. It should be more like before that, right? You need to make friends, get advice from them, listen to them, get them to listen to you as well.
So it's a two-way street.
Two-way street.
Because there are people who kind of complain, I would say, that investors from Asia is different from investors overseas, especially in the Western world. They are less of a risk taker, and they would probably question you 10,000 different reasons
just to make sure
they can make profit out of you.
So there's another element to that. Yes, I do say like it seems very rosy, but you also need to look at like traction, making sure that that there's growth in the product, people actually use the product. Like for us, I think what made the investors comfortable was that we bootstrapped. We didn't take any money, no salary for 1.5 years. Like we really sacrificed the time to wanting to make this happen. So I think investors appreciate that, the sacrifice that we made, and then like we also after that showed traction. Like we're growing like week on week, like double-digit percentage sometimes. So that helped like convince them, and also the market, the potential market as well. So I think how VCC is a function of a team, like the three of us, the product, making sure that the product is good, it's good user experience, and also the potential market. Like common C2C market is huge, right? It's not a market that we are reinventing. It's really there. You look at like companies like eBay, they are $30-40 billion market cap companies. Muda itself, let's say something local, like super they are profitable number one.
You have Alibaba.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get to like China, Alibaba, Taobao. So that picture is there. They understand the market and the potential of it. So that kind of help convince them.
So we talked about all those investments and as well as the mindset of the people in the different region. So when we talk about the people in Southeast Asia particularly, and also startup since it's really booming up for the past few months, or I think almost a year if I'm not mistaken. But I'm sure after you established this company, perhaps the competitiveness level is increasing as well. So how do you measure that, or how do you actually, I don't know, face these competitions? Yeah.
So Southeast Asia, there are like 610 million people, 610, and 400 million people are still not on the internet. So that's the potential growth opportunity. You're gonna have like 400 million people coming on the internet,
right?
And they're gonna come on the internet through smartphones because phones are so cheap. You can get a phone for like less than $50 USD dollars, which is like So it's gonna be so cheap to get a phone compared to like buying a laptop and PC.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be so much cheaper, and all these people are gonna look for like mobile apps, mobile platform, mobile technology to help them enrich their lives. So there's a huge opportunity, and the cost to start these like tech companies are relatively lower compared to like a manufacturing company or like a logistic company, like a media company per se. Like it's so much lower. Traditional media, so much lower to start, and also technology to help you start ever improving, ever cheaper. Like cloud, you have cloud computing where you don't need to buy a server to start something. Apple licensing is what 99 USD. You can put your app. And the distribution channel is for the whole world, right? The App Store, Google Play Store, you can distribute to everyone just by pressing a few buttons on the web. So the ability to distribute like content or like your technology is available and close to nothing. The only cost is probably your time to do it, and the opportunity cost of not finding a full-time job. So that's the only cost that you'll be seeing. So that's why like there's a huge opportunity in Southeast Asia. And to learn is getting relatively easier. You can learn using the internet. There's a lot of online courses. So what differentiates a successful company from a not successful company is probably like the hunger to want to succeed, the desire and the passion. And likewise, that's why there's opportunity in Southeast Asia, and investors are coming in because of this growth potential and all this infrastructure readiness as well.
I see. When you talk about infrastructure readiness, is Southeast Asia ready for you guys? Because internet connection,
yes, I was about to go there.
Bad.
So the reality is outside from like the major cities like KL, Jakarta. Other than that, it's
the penetration is pretty poor, right?
Yeah, connectivity is not very stable. But just to like correct what I'm saying just now, the potential is here, but it's not going to be immediate. It's going to be like I think 3 to 5 year kind of time horizon. But I think infrastructure will be improved. Like Malaysia, for example, like 4G, yes networks are going to get on 4G now, right? So it's going to improve over time. And likewise, Southeast Asia, like Philippines, Indonesia, lots of like foreign direct investment are coming in to build up and to beef up the infrastructure.
So you're looking
Telcos
at
are investing a lot.
time, I guess.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years kind of horizon. So that's why like when I told you guys just now, like we're going to launch new market is the world. So we're going to focus more like developed
Amazing.
markets.
Yeah.
We have been in Southeast
country? Any specific country?
We're still evaluating it. Yeah. But more like like markets with better infrastructure. So when we launched Taiwan, which was like 8 months ago, it was like serendipity, right? We were there on this government-led trip to like learn about Taiwan startups, and we were there. We were like, wow, the connection, the infrastructure is so amazing. Like it's faster than like Singapore, more like sometimes faster than Singapore and more stable. And we thought, and people there were on the smartphones in the trains. Just like Singapore.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Even here as well, like the mall, they're waiting, eating, they're on phones, likewise in Taiwan. And when we look at what were the C2C buying and selling sites, they're all PC. So it was like Singapore 3 years ago.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, we saw that similar pattern, and straight away we launched. We flew like 8 people there to get to know to hire, to also get the engineers to feel like the environment there, the culture there. And we quickly put a team and launch like 8 months ago, and now it's the fastest growing market for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they the main market for you guys?
Singapore and Malaysia is still the main markets, but at the current growth rate of Taiwan it will be the biggest market.
Wow.
Because Taiwan itself, e-commerce market is $30 billion like market.
That's true.
So it's a huge like potential there, and huge potential for developed markets.
So definitely this online platform has changed everyone's life so far. I mean, we like to complain that, oh, now everyone is on the phone, you know, even when we communicate, we're still on the phone. But then after all, well, it's for the better, I guess. It's easier. Perhaps it's cheaper as well and easier to communicate. So on a positive note, we have receiving a lot of benefits because of the online platforms. So before we end our interviews, right? I would love to ask you, Marcus. You said you are looking at the 3 to 5 years planned, right, of Carousell. How about the other future plans? Do you have any other side projects?
Yeah. So for us, Carousell is just 1% done. We're less than 1% done. We are 3 years company, but we want to build a 100-year company. There's 97 more years to go. We're just less than 1% done if you calculate that.
Right.
Less than 1% done. And then there's so many things that we want to do where we can do better. As I mentioned, our vision is to be the e-commerce ecosystem. Right now we do have payments. We want to facilitate payments. We want to facilitate like better discovery, even like logistics, on-demand logistics. How can we, like people who are working, how can they like get someone to pick up the item and then deliver the item, saving them time, and shipping, making shipping easy. Right? Can you just print a label, stick it, and then get the mailman to pick it up? So there's so many like value-added services that we can do to benefit the community.
And your market is the world.
Yes, exactly.
It's not just in Southeast Asia or Singapore.
That's our vision. Like I think what we can do is also like there are a lot of sellers within like different markets which can fulfill overseas kind of like delivery, right? Like there's like lots of like cool stuff in like Jakarta, handmade stuff which you can't find in like Taiwan or Singapore. Can we enable them to fulfill or like enable them to sell to other markets? So that's something that excites us in the longer run. Likewise, like how can we build like a more trusted and more trust and credible platform? Something we want to improve on as well. In short, we want to be like the commerce layer. Like Facebook is like the social media layer, social layer. But at Carousell, we want to be like the commerce layer where everyone has a Carousell account. Everyone has their reviews of how they transact. Everyone we have an idea of like what they're selling, what they are buying, and we want to recommend good stuff to them, like stuff that are cheaper, that makes more sense to buy second hand. And if they don't, we can recommend a good price for retail, like first hand price as well. So that's where the vision is. Like we can be this commerce layer that will help everyone benefit from via C2C to B2C, to even B2B maybe. Yeah. So that's what excites us. It keeps us alive and excited every day, trying to inspire everyone to start selling.
For sure. I can imagine inviting 2 other co-founders with here, and then they can just go on endlessly. Well, thank you so much, Marcus, for being here today.
Thank you,